I'd like to make a statement on the Dagenham fire, obviously the 27th of August 2024. Really, I'd like to start by offering our sincerest sympathies to all those affected by the fire here in Dagenham yesterday. Not only have they suffered the most traumatic experience, but so many have lost their homes and their property. It was very important for me to visit the scene today, not least to meet with our firefighters and other staff and residents, but also to thank the Deputy Prime Minister for taking the time to come to and listen to the stories of the firefighters who responded first on the night. I'm immensely grateful to our crews and officers who operated in the most dangerous conditions you can imagine to rescue people and to bring the incident under control, despite being faced, as you can see behind me, with a very significant building failure. A full simultaneous evacuation of the building was immediately carried out, and a significant search and rescue operation took place, again in very, very high-risk circumstances for firefighters. Despite that challenge, the personal risk to their own lives, they helped evacuate more than 80 people and, most importantly, carried out 20 rescues. This included using fire escape hoods, which obviously provide 15 minutes of clean air in smoke-filled environments, a very important change since the terrible fire at Grenfell Tower. The brigade's control officers are to be equally commended. They took 16 calls to the fire, including a number of really challenging fire survival guidance calls where they provided advice to those callers calmly and professionally using our fire survival guidance app, which allows information to be exchanged in real time between control and the incident ground. Again, I cannot thank them enough for their calmness, their compassion and their professionalism as this building began to fail. Obviously, in responding to the fire, and you'll have seen it here today, we used new equipment such as drones and our 64 and 32 metre turntable ladders to provide incident commanders with a vantage point for assessing the scene and to put water onto the top of this building. London Fire Brigade officers and members of our dedicated community support team stand with the community and have been stationed at the rest centre to support those residents alongside partners. We will be here for many days to ensure that this site is left as safe as it possibly can be. I have to once again take the opportunity to publicly thank our crews, our control officers, our fire safety officers and support staff who have worked so incredibly hard to resolve the incident and to ensure everyone was safe in the face of almost unbelievable challenge. We have, as you might expect, commenced a full and detailed investigation into the cause of this fire, and we are working closely with police colleagues in doing so. However, as you can see, due to the extensive damage to the building, with parts of it now being declared unsafe to access, it is difficult to make entry in there to do that investigation. That means it's likely to be protracted, and our fire investigation and fire safety officers, our specialists, are likely to be on scene for many days. We know there will undoubtedly be concerns around potential fire safety issues, and this investigation will be an absolute priority for our officers over the coming weeks. If I perhaps might end where I started by saying the residents, as well as the wider local community, are in our thoughts today in the face of what they've lost in this terrible incident. And you have my promise as London Fire Commissioner that we will continue to support them over the coming days, weeks and months ahead. Thank you very much for your time. I have time just for a couple of questions. So to be absolutely clear, I have 1,300 buildings in London that are, from my opinion, unremediated and must be as a priority. This is one of very many of them. It is the responsibility of building owners and managers to make sure the systems inside their buildings function properly. And actually, perhaps in that number, it gives you the idea of the challenge we face as a service to hold them to account.
There's more needs to be done to hold them to account because the residents were terrified.
I can imagine, because I've been in charge of many incidents, including Grenfell, that the residents faced their absolute worst night. All I can tell you is that we are engaged fully with government to look again at the legislation, to bring forward the changes that must be made, and we stand with the community, and we will do that with an energy and a transparency.
Commissioner, you talk about fire safety concerns in this building. Can you expand on what they are or were?
I think it's far too early to say. All I can tell you is that we started enforcement action in 2023. You can see clearly the scaffolding is up and the cladding has started to come off. But we are aware there were known fire safety issues, and that will form a fundamental part of what I think will be a complex investigation taking some time. And all of that will be considered in the scope of it.
Can you expand on the enforcement?
I'm afraid I really can't. Thank you so much for your questions.
Just one more, sorry. What did the Deputy Prime Minister have to say, and what did you say to her about the need to pressurise building owners and construction companies to get this work done quicker? Because it's been 7 years since Grenfell.
I think, to the credit of the Deputy Prime Minister, she's demonstrated absolute commitment today to that process, and I look forward to working with her and her office in how we might move this situation forward with both industry and all the other relevant stakeholders. But I think in the testimony she heard from firefighters powerfully about what they experienced on the night, she is very clear in her intent to try and improve this situation. Thank you so much for your time. Take care.